Hi guys, it's me again, Orets. I'm so sorry that this video is a day late. I hope I can be forgiven, but I hope you're having a happy holiday if you celebrate any. This video is going to be another drawing my OC for a week straight since I really enjoyed making the last one. But instead of drawing Alos, which is the OC that I drew last time, I'm drawing Annabelle, another OC from the same universe. I also slightly changed the prompt list, and I'll have the new one on the screen for whoever wants to try it this time. Like the last time I did this challenge, I also want to mention that this video was inspired by Baby Carrot Art, so please check them out if you don't know them, their videos are awesome. But anyway, let's get started with the real video. The first 4 prompts are outfits, so I'm going to talk about them together because I drew all of them at once in a single sitting. I also want to give a very brief overview of the universe that this OC lives in so that you can understand what's going on at all. So, Annabelle's story takes place in a smallish city called Riverside in Connecticut. She's a critter, which is basically this universe's version of mutant. Critters are a relatively new phenomenon to the world. About 50 years ago, they were created by a chemical spill from a large company that gave some people affected by it abilities related to an animal that they're close to. Critters are also a relatively contentious political topic, as many people are scared of them. Annabelle works a job that is considered relatively average in this universe as a superhero for a company called the Hero Association. As a superhero, she fights vermin, which are animals that are affected by the earlier chemical spills, who are given abilities that make them incredibly uncomfortable and therefore aggressive. Okay, that wasn't as quick of a summary as I'd hoped, but I'm working on shortening it for future videos, so if you have any ideas on how to do that, please let me know. This is actually killing me. So now on to Annabelle herself as a character. Annabelle is such a sweetheart. That's the first word I can come up with to describe her. I'm really into the pit right now, so I have to make an obligatory Mel comparison. Mel is my favorite, by the way. Annabelle comes off sort of like Mel when people first meet her. She's super genuine and sensitive individual, but she does have a history of being bullied in school. Her powers are based around a pink ball python, and when she becomes emotional, her hair grows and immobilizes whatever is causing her to be upset. People were pretty scared of this and felt that it was really freaky, so she struggled socially for a long time. This past treatment of her can cause her to assume people are not being genuine with her. However, she hates to be defensive or unkind, so she tends to mostly be quiet rather than defensive, especially to people she doesn't know well. With the second prompt, we're differing from the previous prompt list. I thought this would be a super cool one to draw. It would be the character's most difficult, saddest, and I guess their worst moment in life. Remember how I said that Annabelle used to be bullied? This is relatively intertwined with that. I've already posted this drawing, the one with Annabelle and her mysterious friend, whose name is Angel, by the way. This used to be the closest person in Annabelle's life. Like I mentioned before as well, Annabelle's a quiet person due to her past circumstances, but underneath this wall that she's built, she's a very sensitive and genuine person. But I also gave her a sense of humor that is as follows. She likes to say things that are objectively wrong in front of people that are very knowledgeable about a topic, and then stand by the statement that she knows is wrong until the person figures out she's messing with them. And because she's a genuine person most of the time, it usually catches people so off guard, and she's really great at it. Basically, she's a professional level rage baiter. Anyway, Annabelle's friend Angel was kind enough to her in high school that she drew these traits out of her. These parts of herself that she did not really have the ability to express very often. Especially also because she only lived with her aunt, who wasn't home very often, though she really had no one to talk to, not even family. And so Annabelle valued this friendship so much that she was willing to overlook something pretty cruel about Angel, which is the fact that she was completely unwilling to be seen with Annabelle in public because she was so embarrassed and afraid to be. But one day, as featured in the drawing, Annabelle approached Angel at school to return something she'd left at her house when she was visiting. Angel got so afraid and angry at Annabelle that she had a pretty intense outburst in front of the whole school. She said a lot of things that were very unkind, and the two of them never spoke again after that. In fact, Annabelle never saw her again and assumed that Angel had left the school. Okay. This might have to be a short one because I don't like the drawing very much, but it's fine. So, villain. Annabelle is very difficult to picture as a villain. She has suffered a lot, which has provided her motivation, but she is truly kind to her core, and I don't think that there's really any scenario in which she would ever willingly hurt someone, so I ran with that. She'd have to be an unwilling villain. The solution I came up with was that Annabelle's hair would grow, and harm others without her having any form of control over it. This was already a problem in the real story at the very beginning. When she first got her powers, Annabelle struggled to have complete control over them, but was able to overcome it through training. If she wasn't able to accomplish that though, it could pose a serious threat. Annabelle's greatest fear is that she'll hurt someone, so if she lost control of her powers, she'd be frightened all the time, and since her powers are activated by her emotions, they'd be triggered all the time. I kind of actually created a hypothetical problem here. It's sort of an unstoppable force meets immovable object scenario because I don't think there'd be a possible end to the increase of her fear and suffering, which is upsetting to say the least. This script is actually getting quite sizable compared to my normal, so I'm gonna make this section quick. If you've never heard of it, this is called the Headcanon Generator. It's a website. You can put in the name of a character and it'll randomize a headcanon for them from a list. P.S. I definitely recommend using this for any of your characters, because I had a great time with it. I got Annabelle is not allowed to drink energy drinks, and at first I just saved it as a contender, but the more I thought about it, I realized it definitely fit well with Annabelle, my character with some of the most repressed anxiety. Just one energy drink and she can feel every individual blood cell in her body and quietly thinks that everyone in the room suddenly hates her. I also think she would like them in a way though, if they allowed her to stay up later and work more, stop feeling tired, even though she would just start feeling badly in a different way, so that's the inspiration for this drawing, in which she will unlock the 25th hour of the day. With the person they were closest to was actually really tough for Annabelle, because I'm not between one or two, but three characters. First I was thinking Angel, obviously. She was super close with Angel. Angel was one of the most important people in her life, but on the other hand, they don't talk at all anymore. Plus, I already made a full drawing of together really recently, and I just talked about Angel a ton in this video. So then I was between two of Annabelle's team members at the Hero Association, Casey and Becca. I ended up choosing Becca, but let me explain why. So, Casey was one of the first friends Annabelle ever made after high school. They work well together and they care a ton about each other, but I couldn't help but pick Becca. They haven't known each other for as long as Casey has known Annabelle, since Becca joined the Riverside Hero Association a year later than Annabelle and Casey did, but their personalities work perfectly with each other, and they're now almost like sisters. They're so close. Becca's a lot louder and more outspoken than Annabelle, but acted like she knew Annabelle super well as soon as they met for the first time, which Annabelle found very refreshing since she usually has to let people quote-unquote get used to her before they start treating her like a normal person. This is also compounded by the fact that Becca isn't a critter. She has no powers and she still treats Annabelle normally. The bar is on the floor, but oh well. Becca is also from a family of well-known critters, as her mom was one of the founders of the Hero Association. Since she has no powers but still wants to prove her worth, she works as a quote-unquote guy in the chair for the heroes. She wants to earn the respect of her family, who discount her as she's the only child with no power, and Annabelle feels for her as someone who has also been ostracized and discounted. They really balance each other out in conversation, in their work, and in their values, and I love them. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy holidays again, and goodbye!